Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Irons United. You're joined by me, on my own again, Matt. And it's time for another post-match review. It just finished. Brighton won, West Ham won. And boy, were we lucky. Ant and Rich done a preview the other day, talking about Haller and Anderson. Neither of them played. We made 5 changes from the team that got smashed by City. Ogbonna came into the back 4 for Balbuena, which no idea why, because Balbuena was awful, but he came in as captain. I don't understand what they're doing with the captaincy these days. I think maybe because Ogbonna's one of the longest serving players, he's why he got given it. He got given it because Creswell got dropped to Masuaku, but he still doesn't explain. There was other players on the pitch that could have had it. So we had Fabianski, Fredericks, Diop, Ogbonna, Masuaku, Rice holding with 4 hours of wheelchair in front of him, Snodgrass on the right, who came in, Lanzini on the left, and Hernandez up top on his own, who come in for Haller. Now apparently Haller and Anderson have both got dead legs and we'll be back next week. And boy, did we miss them. It was no width, no pace. Brighton set up in the formation we sort of played on David Moyes, like a 3-4-3-5-4-1. They had Duffy, Dunk and Byrne at centre-back. And the shortest of those 3 blokes is 6'4". So, as you can imagine, Hernandez had an absolutely stinking afternoon, but he did score. We'll get into that in a bit. They had one of the new guys, Trossard, I hope I haven't pronounced his name wrong, £15 million man from Genk on the wing, and of course their golden boy, Glenn Murray up front, who loves a goal against us. Didn't score today, did get an assist. The first 15 minutes, we played really well. The passing game that Pellegrini wants to instill in this team was clearly evident. The passing, the moving, the pace. We looked a lot better going forward from the wing-back position, especially with Masuaku in for Creswell, who, while Masuaku does have a tendency to make an error in him, is a lot more mobile and fast than Creswell, so it still gave you the option going forward. It probably took Brighton about that long to work out how we were going to play. And once they did, they realised every single goal kick, every single free kick, just press up and make us kick it long. Because I'm not joking, I think Hernandez might have won 2 headers all game. I mean, to be fair, Hernandez isn't a target man, he's not a lone striker. And playing him up front against, I said, a guy that's 6'4", 6'6", and 6'6", it was an accident. It was just a disaster from the start. I can't understand what Pellegrini thought in thinking he played Hernandez up front. I said 15 minutes we done well. Brighton come into it. Brighton deservedly went in front. Only for West Ham's best player this season, VAR, to come in and rule it out. It was a free kick from the wing, just tossed over to the back post. I think everyone up for it, everyone missed it. It was a couple of Brighton players, a couple of West Ham players. And it come to the centre-back Byrne on the edge of the box at the far side, right on the byline. Now, Bonner should have just gone and closed him down. And he sort of jogged over and backed off. Byrne pulled it across. New guy, Trossard, on the volley. Brilliant control, brilliant technique. Smashed it in past Fabianski. It went to VAR, and it turns out that the centre-back Byrne was in an offside position when the first cross came in. So as such, he's offside, it got ruled out. It was an absolute get-off for West Ham. And for about 5 minutes, it sort of threw Brighton, and we got back into the game, and it was about 5 minutes. And from about the half-hour point until half-time, we were just holding on. You could see from about 5 minutes into the game, he should have picked Antonio over Hernandez. And you just pray when we get to half-time, which luckily we did. We didn't really have many chances in the first half. One right at the end, where Snodgrass got round the fullback, round the left side centre-back, cut a ball back, got cleared to right on the edge of the box, and he just smashed it into the stand. And I think that was right in injury time at the end of the first half, and that was our first shot. That was our first shot in the game. We didn't have a shot on target in the first half. So we was all sitting there thinking, Hernandez off at half-time, bring on Antonio. No, Pellegrini decided we'd take off Jack Wilshere and put Antonio on. And this is, again, you normally get a few guys on Twitter that will say, Pellegrini this, Pellegrini that. And I generally try and stick up for him. But today he did entirely get everything wrong from tactics to selection in a big way. And he decided to take off Wilshere for Antonio and go 4-4-2, 4-2-2-2. He put Rice and he was Snodgrass in the middle alongside Rice, which did give us more stability in the middle. Snodgrass is a bit more combative than Wilshere. But it meant he put Fornals and Lanzini out on the wing as out-and-out centre forwards to allow Antonio to go up front alongside Hernandez. Now, Fornals and Lanzini can play wide of three attacking midfielders because they can rotate, they can drift, cut inside. If you're playing a 4-4-2, you need out-and-out wingers to create the pace, put the crosses in the box. We didn't get that. So the game didn't really change. We were still, having to lump balls on, try and hope Antonio would win it. They were still dominating all the balls in the air, coming straight back at us. We then, admittedly undeservedly, against the run of play, took the lead. Masuaku picked the ball off the winger on the wing, played it into Lanzini, slipped it in a pass, split the defence, put Hernandez in one-on-one, shot. Keeper should have saved it. You think he got a hand and a knee on it and it still bounced over the line, went to VAR, onside, goal given. And you thought at that point, well, we actually might do all right here. We haven't been in the game, really, apart from the first 15 minutes. This was on the hour mark and you think we've nicked one here, We can shut up shop for 10 minutes and invite them to start pressuring forward. We can probably get one on the counter. No. We were in the lead for 4 minutes. 4 minutes. And again, it was then Uruguay Tossard who and Rich completely forgot about in a preview. We did speak about Malpai, who came off the bench, and Webster, who was on the bench as a centre-back. And I mean, I suppose, when you're playing three at the back, you're going to need backups. Moy came off the bench right near the end. But Tossard, I'll give it to him. Whoever saw him, he's a quality player. He looks really well. The goal he disallowed was on his right foot. This one was on his left foot. But this one, I mean, all fairness, the new manager, Graham Potter's come in to try and make Brighton play good football, which is what the owners wanted and why Chris Hughton left. But the goal they got was straight out of Chris Hughton's book. It was just the ball lumped down the middle. Diop got out-muscled by Murray. The ball broke sort of on the edge of the D to Tossard. And O'Connor, who was the centre-back alongside him, again, like in the first half, instead of going and closing him down, forcing him to do something, he just backed off. Did the hands behind his back, turned his body a bit. Tossard put it on his left foot and just bent it. Bottom corner. Quality goal. Shocking defending. It's like we haven't learnt from last year in defence. Saying that, we obviously learned something because we still managed to get out of the game with a point. At that point, I was thinking, oh yeah, there we go. It's service resumed, normal service, back in. So for the last half hour, to be fair, the last half hour, we had chances, they had chances. It was very much sort of end-to-end game, which no one took their chances for. Malpai missed an absolute sitter. Ball cut back to him, blazed it over the bar. Fabianski put a couple of good saves in. I can't really think of anything we really tested Ryan on after that. But the formation was wrong, the players were wrong. We struggled to create, playing 4-4-2 with ineffectual wingers. I brought on Yarmolenko later in the game. And with about 8 minutes to go, it was inside the last 10 minutes, Hernandez was coming off, which, he's never going to last 90 minutes anyway. And you're thinking, Ajeti was on the bench. You've already brought Yarmolenko on. Me personally, I'd have taken Hernandez off, put Ajeti on and moved Antonio onto the wing. No, we took off Hernandez and put on Carlos Sanchez because we need to go to Brighton and shut up shop to get a point. Don't get me wrong, if we had put Ajeti on and then Brighton had gone and scored, I'm sure, 20/20 hindsight and all that, I'd probably be sitting here saying, oh, we should have shut up shop. But, nothing against Brighton, but if Pellegrini's saying what he wants and he's aiming where he wants to be, Brighton is a team we should be beating. That being said, Brighton very much was solid defensively. Had their banks of, it was like a 5-4-1 in defence and a 3-4-3 in attack. And structurally, positionally, they were very solid. You could see, I don't know if that's Graham Potter or more likely what's left from Chris Hughton. I think they'd be okay this season. For us, I wouldn't say a bad day off, and it was a bad day, but it's still the only thing I say in progression is that it's still we got a point from it. Whereas last season, or even maybe under Bilic and under Moyes, once it went to 1-1, we'd have crumbled, and it would have been 3 or 4. So that being said, it could have been either team could have nicked it in the end. It was very much end to end. Finished 1-1. It wasn't a good performance in a lot of respects. We've already seen we need a plan B, because teams like Brighton worked out very quickly in the first quarter of the game that, especially with Haller not on the pitch, that we couldn't kick the ball long. And they just pushed everyone up. So even if we played a short goal kick in the box, like you can do now, they were on us straight away. And it came to Fabianski just kicking it out for throw-ins on the halfway line. Yarmolenko got some minutes in, which was good. I said he'd come off the bench. Carlos Sanchez got some minutes in. I'm not really sure about him. He wasn't great in pre-season, but if he can come on and solidify for the last 10 minutes, then at least that's something. Masuaku looked a lot better. There was one mistake he made in the first half where he awful shanked clearance and they probably should have scored and the guy smashed it and Fabianski made a good save. But overall, we did look a lot better than Creswell, and that's probably because he's got the mobility and the speed to at least cover for the mistakes that he makes, whereas like you saw against Man City, Creswell was left, right and centre, all over the place. Diop hasn't had a good game, didn't have a good game. He's been one of our weaker players in the first 2 games, which is surprising why he dropped Balbuena and not Diop. Giving Ogbonna the captaincy, I mean, honestly, you had Fabianski, even Diop, Wilshere, Rice, and even Snodgrass on the pitch. Any one of them would probably have been a better captain for the game than Ogbonna. But we got out of Brighton with a point. Brighton's one of our bogey teams. We don't seem to have handled them. Without Haller on the pitch, we are exceedingly small. Like we've gone from the Allardyce style of the big teams to now we're like massively shorter, and that was our problem all game. We were just dominating any time we tried to kick a ball up the pitch and relieve the pressure. It was Hernandez against 3 giants. I think he won 1 header against them all game, and there was one time he won a header because they didn't challenge him. Most of the game, the centre backs weren't even jumping for headers. They were just watching Hernandez miss his header and chesting it down to recycle possession. Now, obviously, with Haller on the pitch, that would have been a lot different. But he, as always, West Ham, we always get players injured. Back for the next game, what I said, we got out from our bogey team with a point. We live and learn, move on to the next game. I expected us to win, but having saw the lineup when we kicked off, I'd have taken a 1-1 draw. We got 1-1 draw. We were arguably exceedingly lucky to get a 1-1 draw. But that's just my opinion. Get your comments in down below. What you think, how you think we done, who was good, who was bad, who should get dropped. Me personally, I'd get a bonus straight back out. As always, like, share and subscribe. And come on you.